Hello and welcome to HITC Sevens, and to today's video, in which I'm going to attempt to name the best signing made every year since 1995. Not just off the top of my head, like some mad performing circus act. No, I've spent many hours sifting through the years and picking out some of the best recruits based upon talent, cost, contribution, and sell-on value. And that is an important distinction. This is not the best player signed every year, but the best signing overall. For example, Ronaldo Luis Nazario de Lima was probably the best player to make a transfer in 2007, but he only went on to play 20 games in 2 seasons for AC Milan following his transfer from Real Madrid, so he wasn't the best signing that year. The last point that I'll make before I begin is that the list naturally leans towards top class players. So whilst I, as a Hull City fan, might suggest that the 2002 signing of Ian Ashby from Cambridge United by Jan Molby on a free transfer was the best signing that year by a country mile, some people would probably take a poor view of me picking Ashby over Manchester United signing Rio Ferdinand or Bolton Wanderers striking a deal for JJ Okocha during the same year, just as one example. I will be terse given that there is a quarter of a century to cover, but I'll try to include some honourable mentions when they are most deserved nonetheless. Oh, and also, there'll be no youth signings, so Lionel Messi joining Barcelona from Newell's Old Boys as a child wouldn't be eligible, only players or transfers where the player went straight into the first team. Here is who I think was the best signing in world football every year since 1995. 1995. Javier Zanetti. I'll be honest, I was stuck on 1995 for a solid half an hour since there are 3 truly outstanding candidates. Parma signed Fabio Cannavaro for around £6 million in 1995, enjoying 7 seasons and almost 300 appearances from one of the best centre-backs on the planet before selling him for £20 million in 2002. Arsenal signed Dennis Bergkamp during that same year for £2.5 million from Inter Milan, who would help revolutionise the Premier League at Arsenal alongside Arsene Wenger, winning a myriad of trophies before retiring at the club in 2006. Ultimately though, both are just pipped to the post by Javier Zanetti, who was signed by Inter Milan for less than £6 million from Banfield in 1995 and went on to spend 19 seasons at the San Siro, during which time he made over 850 appearances and won 16 trophies, 15 of which he won as club captain, becoming one of the club's all-time greats. 1996. Zinedine Zidane. Another rip-roaring year for transfers, 1996 sees honourable mentions go to Chelsea's signing of Gianfranco Zola, Newcastle's swoop for hometown hero Alan Shearer, Real Madrid recruiting Roberto Carlos, and Arsenal poaching the great Patrick Vieira, among others. All things considered, however, I can't overlook the deal that Juventus struck to sign Zinedine Zidane. With Blackburn Rovers reportedly having turned their noses up at him, Zizou joined Juve from Bordeaux for a fee equivalent to £3.2 million. By comparison, Newcastle paid £15 million for Shearer during the same year. Within a couple of years, Zizou had become universally regarded as one of the best players in the world, and when he departed after 5 seasons in Turin, he did so as the most expensive footballer of all time, joining Real Madrid for £46 million by the exchange rate at the time, equivalent to roughly £70 million now. 1997. HENRIK LARSSON. Ronaldo Luis Nazario de Lima joined Inter Milan in 1997 for a world record fee, spending 18 incredible months at the San Siro before sustaining a dreadful knee injury. He was still sold for roughly twice what they paid for him in 2002, and as such, almost took top spot in 1997. I can't overlook HENRIK LARSSON though, who joined Celtic for the ludicrously small fee of £650,000 that year. Larsson went on to score 242 goals in 313 games over the course of 7 seasons at Celtic Park, spending his best years in Glasgow and becoming the club's greatest player of the modern era at least. 1998. Freddie Ljungberg. Denilson set a world record transfer fee in 1998, but he ended up being pretty underwhelming at Real Betis. There were some significant transfers in the Premier League, not least with Arsenal signing Nwankwo Kanu and Manchester United bringing Jaap Stam. The biggest bargain of them all might just have been Freddie Ljungberg though, who joined Arsenal from Swedish outfit Halmstad for just £3 million. A fantastic wide man who went on to play more than 300 games over the next 9 years at Arsenal, Ljungberg was named as the Gunners' 11th greatest player of all time back in 2008. 1999. Thierry Henry. It's an Arsenal signing yet again in 1999, although not without one hell of a fight. AC Milan signed Andrei Shevchenko from Dynamo Kiev in 1999 for £22 million, and the Ukrainian scored 172 goals in 296 games for the club, before being sold to Chelsea for roughly twice what they had paid for him. In a normal year, that would ensure inclusion, but not in 1999, the year that Arsenal signed Thierry Henry from Juventus. Henry set the Gunners back £11 million, and he immediately became a goal-scoring sensation. The greatest player in English football during the Premier League era, as far as I'm concerned, Henry scored 226 goals in 370 games during his first stint in North London. And to top it all off, he was sold for a 2x profit when he left in 2007. 2000. Robert Pires. It's quite remarkable that in 1998, 1999 and 2000, my first choices all signed for Arsenal, with honourable mentions for Patrick Vieira and Dennis Bergkamp earlier on, and that ought to serve as a tribute to the fine job Arsene Wenger did during his early years at Highbury. Robert Pires was signed by Arsenal for just £6 million from Marseille during the same summer that Marc Overmars left the club for a record fee of £25 million. A quick, gifted and remarkably creative wide man, Pires was such a consistent scorer and creator of goals for the Gunners, and I often feel as though he isn't as highly regarded alongside other Premier League greats as he ought to be. 2001. Gianluigi Buffon. This first competition in 2001, which was a 12-month period that saw Chelsea sign Frank Lampard for £11 million from West Ham, and Arsenal poached Sol Campbell from their North London rivals on a free transfer. Either would be worthy winners in any year, but for 2001, my choice is Gianluigi Buffon. Juventus smashed the world record fee for a goalkeeper when they paid Parma €52 million for Buffon, but they knew exactly what they were getting. The Italian was already among the top 2 keepers on the planet, and over the next 17 years, he registered more than 650 appearances for the old lady and cemented his status as one of the greatest of all time. 2002. Clarence Seedorf. Staying in Serie A, as I mentioned in the introduction, my choice for 2002 would of course be Ian Ashby. Meanwhile, Rio Ferdinand and JJ Okocha are among the outstanding honourable mentions. Squeaking in ahead of all three, however, is one of the greatest midfielders of the 21st century, Clarence Seedorf. The only man to have won the Champions League with 3 different clubs, Seedorf was a sensational all-round midfield marvel. In 2002, following 2.5 years at the club, Inter Milan sold Seedorf to their cross-city rivals for a minor loss, in a deal worth a little over £20 million. Seedorf went on to spend 9 seasons at AC Milan, registering 431 inspired performances and winning 10 trophies. 2003. Kaka. 2003 was a chaotic year for football transfers, most notably including the chain of events which saw David Beckham sign for Real Madrid, Ronaldinho head for Barcelona, and Cristiano Ronaldo make a move to Manchester United. Ronaldinho and Ronaldo came close to featuring, particularly the latter, but I can't look beyond Kaka. The second consecutive AC Milan signing in this video, the Rossoneri signed Kaka for just €8.5 million from Sao Paulo in 2003. He was an instant success at the San Siro and spent the next 6 years as one of, if not the best player on the planet. He won the Ballon d'Or in 2007 and was sold to Real Madrid for a brief world record-setting fee of €67 million in 2009. 2004. Esteban Cambiasso. With Wayne Rooney's £26.5 million transfer to Manchester United, Didier Drogba's £24 million move to Chelsea, and Petr Cech's £7 million switch also to Stamford Bridge, 2004 was a horrible year to whittle down to just one signing. Ultimately though, I said I was basing it on a multitude of factors, and when you take talent and impact weighed up against cost into account, I think Esteban Cambiasso might just see off the lot of them. He joined Inter Milan on a free transfer from Real Madrid in 2004, and he would spend the next 10 years at the San Siro. During that time, Cambiasso was the complete defensive midfielder, making 420 appearances and winning 15 trophies, including 5 Serie A titles and the Champions League. 2005. Sergio Ramos. Seeing off the considerable challenge of Edwin van der Sar's £2 million move from Fulham to Manchester United, the sheer amount of time Sergio Ramos has spent at Real Madrid in comparison to van der Sar at Old Trafford, along with the weight of what he has achieved, means that this one was a no-brainer in the end. Ramos certainly wasn't cheap, joining Real for €27 million, which was a record for a Spanish defender at the time. In the 15 years since, though, the 34-year-old has become one of the most significant figures in the history of possibly the biggest club on earth. Ramos has scored 100 goals in 660 games for Real Madrid from right back and centre back. He has won 22 trophies and he's captained the club since 2015. 2006. Ashley Cole. Ashley Cole joined Chelsea from Arsenal for just £5 million plus William Gallas in 2006. Meanwhile, Marcelo joined Real Madrid and Nemanja Vidic signed for Manchester United in equally brilliant pieces of business. I think Cole was the pick of the bunch, but I wouldn't argue for too long with anyone who thought that Marcelo or Vidic were the better deals. Cole spent 8 seasons at Stamford Bridge, where he played over 300 games, and I don't believe there was a better left back on earth during that time. 2007. Gareth Bale. It wasn't obvious that Gareth Bale would be a brilliant signing for Tottenham back in 2007, and it was even less obvious in 2008 and for most of 2009. It was only following a move from left back to the left flank and a new lease of life that Bale rapidly started to become an unplayable force of nature. Lightning quick and with confidence coursing through his veins, the Welshman, who cost Spurs just £5 to £10 million, eventually became the best player in the Premier League. He was sold to Real Madrid for between £77 and £85 million in 2013, although he is obviously back in North London now. 2008. Dani Alves. Seeing off stern competition from Vincent Kompany's arrival at Manchester City and Gerard Piqué's return to Barcelona, my choice in 2008 is Dani Alves. Despite the fact that he was much more expensive than those two, setting Barca back £23 million with the potential to rise to £30 million when he arrived from Sevilla, Alves was so crucial to such a brilliant and all-conquering team that I think he deserves to come out on top regardless. During his 8 seasons at the Camp Nou, many claimed that Alves couldn't defend. It was always nonsense. The truth was just that Barcelona were almost permanently on the attack. The Brazilian played 391 games for Barcelona, where he won every trophy on offer on multiple occasions, and I don't think anyone has formed a more telepathic relationship with Lionel Messi. 2009. Cristiano Ronaldo. During 2009, Karim Benzema joined Real Madrid, Ian Robben signed for Bayern Munich, and Seamus Coleman rocked up at Goodison Park in exchange for 3 Cadbury Dairy Milks and a pint of Guinness. All were magnificent signings for different reasons, but all are well beaten by perhaps the most significant signing in this entire video. Having narrowly missed out in 2003, there's no way Cristiano Ronaldo's landmark 2009 transfer to Real Madrid is going to be overlooked. Although the deal made Ronaldo the most expensive player on earth at the time, he more than justified the fee. Across 9 seasons in Madrid, Ronaldo scored 450 goals in 438 games, going above and beyond what even his biggest admirers could have anticipated. What's more, when he left the club as a 33-year-old for Juventus, he did so for a profit. Signings don't come much better than Cristiano Ronaldo to Real Madrid in 2009. 2010. David Silva. The 3 best signings of 2010, by my estimations, were David Silva, Yaya Toure, and Robert Lewandowski. Had Borussia Dortmund won the 2013 Champions League final or ended up receiving a FIFA Lewandowski, he'd be my number 1 choice, but as neither of those things happened, I've gone for Silva. Silva set the citizens back £24 million during the summer of 2010, but even if he had cost twice that, he would have proved to be a bargain. A tireless midfield technician who would improve almost any team in any era, Silva is a candidate for the title of Man City's greatest player of all time. He spent exactly 10 seasons at the Etihad, registering 436 appearances and helping establish the club as a dominant force within the English game. 2011. Sergio Aguero. Continuing the Manchester City theme, the signing of Sergio Aguero from Atletico Madrid, Pip's Juventus picking up Andrea Pirlo on a free, Liverpool signing Luis Suarez, and Bayern Munich's addition of Manuel Neuer in 2011 to take top spot. Those are some seriously outstanding pieces of business, but I think the signing of Aguero in 2011 was the moment that Man City really laid down a marker to show that they could compete with the likes of Barcelona and Real Madrid for the best players on the planet. Aguero made an instant impact, and he won the Citizens their first league title in 44 years during his debut campaign. He has since become Man City's all-time record scorer and one of English football's greatest ever foreign players, having scored 255 goals in 373 games at the Etihad. 2012. Paul Pogba. The joint second youngest signing in this video, I believe, and I've no doubt someone will correct me if I am wrong, Paul Pogba had only made 3 league appearances when he left Manchester United in a move to Juventus. The Italian Giants paid Manchester United £800,000 in compensation for the teenage Frenchman, who proceeded to become one of the best young players on the planet in Turin. He enjoyed 4 outstanding seasons at the club, winning 4 Serie A titles before returning to Old Trafford for a then world record £89 million. All things considered, it was a pretty decent piece of business by the old lady. Honourable mentions go to Real Madrid's signing of Luka Modric, Chelsea's recruitment of Eden Hazard, and Swansea City's inspired signing of Michu, tainted only by an unfortunate career-ending injury. 2013. Philippe Coutinho. Similar to the Paul Pogba transfer in many respects, not only did Liverpool pick up Philippe Coutinho very cheaply, he gave them 5 years of outstanding service, and when he departed, Liverpool received £105 million, with the potential to rise to £142 million. Coutinho cost Liverpool just £8.5 million back in 2013, but within 18 months of his arrival, he was the club's best player. With the money they recouped from his sale, Liverpool were able to bring the likes of Alisson and Virgil van Dijk to the club, making his signing all the sweeter. An honourable mention to Coutinho's compatriot Neymar, who joined Barcelona for €86.2 million, spent 4 phenomenal seasons at the Camp Nou, and departed for a world record €222 million fee during the same year. 2014. Robert Lewandowski. Robert Lewandowski came very close to becoming the only player to feature in this video twice, but whilst he just missed out in 2010, he cruises in for 2014, despite competition from Real Madrid's signing of Toni Kroos and Leicester City's deal to sign Riyad Mahrez. In fact, all things considered, Robert Lewandowski might just be the best signing of the last 25 years, and as such, the best signing in this video. He cost Bayern Munich nothing, he has scored 259 goals in 301 games, and at the age of 32, he still looks as sharp as ever. A bafflingly brilliant signing, whichever way you look at it, well, unless you're a Dortmund fan. 2015. N'Golo Kante. You could make a case for Kevin De Bruyne to Man City, or Joshua Kimmich to Bayern Munich for 2015, or even Wilfried Zaha's return to Crystal Palace. Certainly, from a financial perspective, Zaha's return cost Palace between £3 to £6 million, and he's probably made them about £100 million a season ever since by ensuring their continued survival in the Premier League. Nevertheless, ahead of them all, I've gone for Leicester City's 2015 signing of N'Golo Kante. Brought in to replace another brilliant signing in the form of Esteban Cambiasso, Kante cost the Foxes just £5.6 million when he arrived from Cannes. The following season, Kante was the key cog in the most surprising title win in English football for at least 50 years, and he has been among the best midfielders on the planet ever since. Leicester lost him to Chelsea for £32 million after just a single season. It should have been more, but a brilliant piece of business regardless. 2016. Sadio Mane. Subscribers to this channel will know that I'm not afraid to hold my hands up when I'm wrong, and Liverpool's signing of Sadio Mane was one of those occasions. I thought Mane was a good signing by Jurgen Klopp, but felt he was a tad expensive at £34 million after just a couple of seasons at Southampton. How wrong I was. Mane has turned out to be an absolute steal and has become one of the best wide players on earth at Anfield. He has scored 20 or more goals in all competitions in each of the last 3 seasons, and you'd put your mortgage on him replicating that feat again this season if he can stay injury-free. 2017. Jadon Sancho. Liverpool almost make it back-to-back inclusions, with Mohamed Salah and Andy Robertson both having been inspired signings by the Reds in 2017, but both had just pipped to the post. The man who finishes ahead of them is Jadon Sancho, and I think it's difficult to argue with that, although this is the internet, so no doubt someone will prove me wrong. Sancho cost Borussia Dortmund just £8 million, and he hadn't yet played for Manchester City at the time. He is still eligible for this video because he went straight into the Dortmund first team and was considered a first team player when he arrived, aged 17, registering 12 appearances during his debut campaign. It was during his second season that Sancho's reputation headed into the stratosphere, as he became the best dribbler in the Bundesliga before he had even turned 20. If or when Dortmund do sell the Englishman, they should make close to a £100 million profit. 2018. NICOLO Zaniolo. Dusan Tadic was a tremendous signing by Ajax in 2018, the Serbian enjoying a sensational renaissance in Amsterdam. Meanwhile, Atletico Madrid signed Spanish midfielder Rodri for €20 million in 2018 and sold him for €70 million in 2019. Both would be worthy winners, but my choice is Roma recruit Nicolo Zaniolo, who arrived in the Italian capital from Inter Milan for a fee of just €4.5 million, although it was also part of the deal which saw Radja Nainggolan head in the opposite direction. Nonetheless, whilst Nainggolan was in the autumn of his playing days, Zaniolo was just getting started, and it has been a seriously promising start. A brilliant all-round midfielder with outstanding versatility, Zaniolo has all of the tools to become genuinely world-class, and Roma have reportedly already slapped a €62 million asking price on his head. 2019. Luka Jovic. I've gone for a bit of an odd one for 2019, since Luka Jovic only played a handful of games for Eintracht Frankfurt after joining the German outfit on a permanent basis. To be absolutely clear, it is the signing of Jovic by Eintracht and not by Real Madrid, where he has been something of a flop, that is my choice as the best signing of 2019. Following 2 seasons on loan at the club, Eintracht activated their option to sign Jovic on a permanent basis in April 2019, knowing full well they would be able to sell him for an enormous profit within months. Sure enough, having paid £20 million to trigger his release clause from Benfica, Eintracht sold Jovic less than 2 months later to Real Madrid for around £57 million. A £37 million profit in the space of 7 weeks isn't bad going. 2020. Erling Haaland. Borussia Dortmund had been doing brilliant transfer business for more than a decade, and it is their signing of Erling Haaland that completes this video. There have been loads of brilliant signings in 2020, in my opinion, and Manchester United fans might have been hoping for Bruno Fernandes' inclusion. No doubt he deserves a mention, but he didn't come cheap, and he's a veteran in comparison to Haaland. Despite the fact that he had scored 28 goals in 22 games during the first half of the season, Dortmund were able to trigger Haaland's €20 million release clause from Red Bull Salzburg in January. For that price, Dortmund might just have signed the best centre-forward in the world over the next decade. Haaland has already scored, quite frankly, a laughable tally of 31 goals in 30 games at the Bundesliga club, aged only 20, so I'm not sure I could really pick anyone else. So that is it for today's video, but thank you all very much as ever for watching. Do give us a like if you enjoyed the video, let me know your thoughts down below in the comments, and make sure that you are subscribed and have clicked the little bell to turn notifications on for HITC Sevens. And you can also follow me on Twitter or Instagram, where the username is just @HITC Sevens on both platforms.